Chicks, chicks, chicks. Hello YouTube. This is the first video from Sunrise to Sunset Farm. When I say farm, I really mean farmette. We're only sitting on 2 acres here in the Panhandle of West Virginia, so farm is probably a bit of a stretch, but I grew up on a 40-acre farm in upstate New York, and that we could actually probably call a farm, but I digress. So I wanted to do a video of the chicks we just purchased, the 7 additional chicks that we just purchased to add to our flock of 13, so that gets us up to 20. We currently have 2 roosters and 11 hens. So this would give us 2 roosters and 20 hens, which actually is still a pretty good number of ratios from roosters to hens. The old adage is, at the very minimum, you would like to have 1 rooster for 4 hens, but you can go all the way up to 1 rooster to 10 hens, and the roosters, can still do their job. Of course, there's an argument about what roosters are actually doing for us, because we don't actually incubate our own eggs. So these day-old hens, and once again, I say day-olds, they're really actually 3 days old when we purchased them. They came from a farm called Marker 99 Poultry, and if there's people listening to this video from our area, Marker 99 Poultry is over in Middletown, Maryland. Really good dude. This is our second batch from him. The first batch came from him, and they did awesome. So I would recommend that, Marker 99 Poultry. So as you can see, we've got 4 Leghorns in there, and those are the ones that are yellowish, whitish color. They start out yellow, and then they've gradually turned white. As you can see, in the camera hits them, they are starting to turn white already. The Leghorns are, from that famous commercial, Foghorn Leghorn, right? That's what the Leghorns are. And they are the top producers. So if you're looking to just crank out as many eggs as you can get, Leghorns is the way to go. You're going to get 300 plus eggs a year. They do not give brown eggs, though. They give the white eggs, right? So and they're still just as good. It's just people, of course, now are looking for brown eggs. So then let's go and look at their very little guy right there, right? That's a Silver Wyandotte. She seems to be the runt of the litter. She's pretty small at this point, but she's starting to grow up a little bit. The other 2 are Americanas, and Americana is an Easter egg breed that gives you the greenish, bluish eggs. Real pretty eggs. People seem to love them too. The Wyandotte will give you a brown egg. Okay. We have the mature hens that we have out in the coop. We have 2 roosters. One's a Brahma, one's a Wyandotte, and then we have 8 Barred Rocks. Barred Rocks are my favorite breed. They're very hardy. They were bred for this area. They're very docile. They're good hens. So we have the 8 Barred Rocks. They give you all browns. Then we have 1 Brahma hen. She gives you a brown egg. We have 1 Buff Orpington, who gives you a brown egg. And then we have 1 Australorp, who gives you a brown egg as well. We had an Australorp rooster who has gone by the way of chicken heaven at this point. So he was fine up until when the hens started producing eggs, and once some hens started producing eggs, he got really aggressive, so he had to go bye-bye. So the Australorp hen, she's kind of aggressive hen too. So with that being said, I don't think we'll ever get Australorps again. Some people have luck with them, we have not. It may be just a breed line that he has with those. So the roosters, really for us, we've kept them just because we got them from the previous line. The first 12 that we got 3 roosters out of it. That happens. Hopefully all these 7 right here are hens. There may not be. We just don't know. It's very difficult to identify sex at such an early age on chickens. So we've kept the roosters just because they do a very good job, and they're docile. The 2 that we have, they're the first out of the coop. They're the last in the coop. They definitely take care of their hens the way they should. So we're just gonna keep them at this point. So these guys were purchased on 14 January, and it is today is the 21 January, right? So we've had them for exactly a week today, so that's why I wanted to show you guys today. See how, they're just eat, drink, sleep. That's all they do, right? They grow very quickly. So from our perspective, so what we do is I'll have them in this brooder box. And when I say brooder box, you can use any brooder box that you want, right? So you can actually use a cardboard box, or you can use a tote, or you can use whatever you want. But I've got this Rubbermaid stock tank at Tractor Supply, quite inexpensive. I think I purchased it for $70. It was on sale, and I will have this obviously for the remainder of my life. I mean, this thing will outlive me 10 times, right? So I don't have to worry about, getting a new cardboard box or something like that every time. So this guy is the limitation factors on this are the sides are pretty short. So I wanted to get the shallow stock tank just so because it's easier to handle the chicks, in and out. So they're in here for 4 weeks. They'll be in here for 4 weeks. 1 month works perfect for us. Once they hit that 4-week age, they bounce out to the coop. So it'll be mid-February to go out to the coop. We are in the Western Panhandle, right, of West Virginia, the Eastern Panhandle, of West Virginia. So yes, we do give all 4 seasons, and it does get quite cold here. If you remember around Christmas Eve, Christmas time, we got the negative 35-degree, wind chills, all that good stuff. Chickens are very hardy, believe it or not. But what we really need to wait till 4 weeks though, because at this point all they have is down feathers, right? Once you get to that 4+ week age, even 8 weeks and plus 2, even more so, they actually have feathers where they can actually semi-regulate the body temperature. They can't regulate their body temperature like other mammals because they don't sweat, right? And they don't have fur to keep them warm. But they're very hardy breeds. And what I'll do is I'll take that boilerplate that you see. That's a breeder boilerplate, right? That gets up to right around 90-95 degrees, and that's what you need for the first 4 weeks. Chicks need 90-95 degrees. That's what they want. That's what mother hen's temperature is, right? I'll take that plate that you see in the middle of the brooder box out to the coop. We'll set that up, and I also have 2 space heaters that I use out there. So if we need that, we can use that. So step number 1 in raising chicks is identify yourself a brooder box, because as soon as you get them from wherever you're purchasing, or even if you're incubating themselves, they need to go in a clean, dry environment, right? So brooder box, step 1. Step 2, clean water. So as you can see, we use waters and feeders that are red in color, because red is actually the only color that chickens actually can see. So you can get those at Tractor Supply or any of your feed supplies. As you can see, they are constantly kicking bedding in, kicking feed in the water. So on a daily basis, you gotta clean these things out half a dozen times, and that's okay. But I completely clean those out and use hot water, use a sponge on the inside, all that good stuff to get all that cruddy stuff out. Completely clean them out 3 times a week, right? And actually with 7 hens, 3 times a week is necessary because they'll drink all that water up pretty quickly, believe it or not. I know that they seem small, but as you can see, they've identified this left-hand side here, as you're seeing it, as their place to feed and water, because I filled that one up with feed last night, filled up with water last night. This right-hand side over there, they use, but not as much. And that's no different than people. People get used to certain things, hens do too. If they want to go to that side, they go to that side. So step 1, brooder box. 2, clean water. 3, high quality feed, right? So we're gonna flip over to here, and I'm gonna show you what I feed. I feed the Purina brand, Start and Grow, and it's medicated, okay? So it's got all your good stuff in it. Probiotics, prebiotics, all the vitamins and minerals that you need. It's 18% in protein, so it's higher than the Purina Lane Crumbles, which is 16%. So that's why, you bump up. In my opinion, you need at least 18% for your chicks, because they really need, at this age, they need a lot of protein, right? So once again, Tractor Supply, any feed supply, you use any brand you want. That's the brand that I like that the chicks have done really well off of. You can get a bag right there, a 50-pound bag for $25 to $30. That bag will last for these 7 hens. Will probably last 3 to 4 weeks. It may last the entire time that they're in here. Obviously, the more you have, the more you're going to need, right? So, but good, high quality feed is very important, especially at this early age. I put prebiotics and probiotic packs in their water. You can do 1 pack will treat 1 gallon. So I take a pack and I divide it up between those two. Those two are not a gallon, but it doesn't, a little bit extra doesn't hurt them. Prebiotics and probiotics are very important for chicks at any age, chicks and or chickens, mature hens, for their gut health, right? So that's an important thing. In my next video, I'll pop out to the coop and I can show you what prebiotic and probiotic brands I use. Once again, Purina, right? Fresh water from the tap, the good stuff here in West Virginia, right? And then, of course, the other step of this is you need some kind of heat source, right? You can use a heat lamp. I'm not a fan of heat lamps. I like the boiler plates here, the breeder plates. They're quite nice, and because of the fact that, as you can see, the legs are adjustable in nature, right? So I can flip that thing upside down. There's a button you push, and you can adjust the height of that. Because you want to get that plate down pretty much as low as you can, because they're gonna, at nighttime they sneak under this thing and they just lay there and they sleep, right? And it stays about 95 degrees. So as you can see, they're fairly short. That seems low, but now that's about where you want it. As they get to week four, and they're about ready to be out of here, those legs will be, I'll have that thing all the way, pretty much all the way high, right? So there's the water and feeders, as you can see, right? And they're just tearing it up. This is what they do all day long, right? So as you can see, they like to get up on top of it there and do their thing on there. I'll clean that thing up once we get out of here, and it'll be good to go. And then you can see, well, what's he got chicken wire on there for? Well, I got chicken wire on there because the sides on this brooder box are a little low. And believe it or not, once day one, they're trying to pounce out of this thing, and they can. So I put that chicken wire on there just to keep them inside, So I just flop that thing off when I go to feed them water, and it's not a big deal, but that keeps them inside. Also, if you have dogs or anything and they like to, like we do, we have a little pup who can fit right inside there. She's not gonna do anything to him, but she just wants to. She would get in there and just make a terrible mess. So we keep that on there. We have these guys inside our craft room, which is a room that was built when we first, before we bought this house. He had guns and gun safes in here, and the walls are insulated, and it's nice. As you can see, I've got a little heater going in here, right? I've got one of those faux fireplaces that cranks out some nice heat. You can set that at 68 degrees, and it keeps the room 68 in here. That plate obviously keeps it at 95 degrees. You don't have to have a room that's like this, that's insulated and all that good stuff. What you just need to do, though, is to keep them out of the wind and the rain. Those are two things that will kill chicks, is the wind, the rain, and the cold temperatures. That'll do them in, right? So you gotta have them inside a space that's at least dry and wind-free. We brought them up here in this craft room for the first time. I say craft room because my wife does all kinds of crafty stuff up here, right? So we brought them up here as opposed to the shop. Last year I had the first crew down in the shop, but that was because it was like, it was April time frame last year, and they were, the temperatures weren't too bad. The shop was uninsulated, but it was okay. I had that plate down there. But if we figured if this is mid-January, we'll bring them up here so we can keep them warm. So that's what they do all day long. You ain't gotta do much to them, but what you gotta do is keep clean water, keep your feed full, keep everything. Let's talk about bedding too, right? So these are wood shavings that once again, Tractor Supply, Feed Supply, whatever you get. Wood shavings is the best bedding that I've found that works just great for us. You can use sand, you can use straw, you can use wood shaving, whatever you want to use. Wood shavings are perfect for me because they nice cushion to them. They absorb water really good, right? So they absorb that poop, water, all that good stuff, feces, everything. They soak it right up, right? It stays nice and dry. It's got a good cushion to it. You can take this once you're done with it. You clean it out once a month. You can take out your garden, throw it in your garden. It turns into good, decent compost. So wood shavings is what we use. The most important thing about any bedding that you use, whatever bedding you use, is at least once a month be changing that stuff out. Even if you just had one hen, at least just clean that stuff out, right? Put new dry bedding in. That's what they love. They do really well for us off the wood shavings. It comes in a red and white, almost looks like a 50-pound square bale, right? It comes in a red and white package at Tractor Supply. So good stuff. That's what we use for bedding, right? So for chicks, not this you don't got to do much to them, right? We're not collecting eggs, we're not doing anything right now, but we just gotta make sure that everybody's alive, doing well, and they are. They're doing real well, right? Another thing that we like to do constantly with these guys is I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they are just enthralled with the chicks, so we handle them quite a bit, so that later on they're just that much better as far as their attitude goes, right? Their personalities. If you handle them quite a bit, they're just gonna be that much better for you. Yeah, that little Wyandotte, she's a little bit. She gets up there and she's eating. She's just when we bought her, you can tell right off the bat that she's a little bit smaller, but they're doing good. So I just wanted to do a video on, hey, this is what our setup is for chicks. You may want to do the same thing. You may want to do something totally different, but that's what we do here. So what else do we want to talk about? We want to talk. We've covered the box. We covered the feed. We covered the water. We covered what you need to do for as far as a warming plate goes, a heat source of some sort, right? We covered bedding, daylight. So what I found is that our chickens do best on 14 hours of light, whether that be artificial or natural. Now in here, of course, it's artificial. There's no windows in here anywhere, right? So this is all artificial light. So I come out at 4 o'clock in the morning, turn the lights on, and they go out, and the lights go off at 6 o'clock in the evening. That's what we do. That's what works good for us. I'm not saying that works good for anybody else, but the coop the same way. I go out to the coop, turn the light on at 4 o'clock, lights go off at 6. Now, of course, out in the coop, they just free range all day long. That's why our eggs have turned out so good. Is they just once you hit that light on in the morning, they're outside and they're doing their thing outside all day long, unless it's windy, unless it's raining, unless it's snowing. They'll be in the coop. Other than that, they're outside. That's what their environment likes to be, right? That's what they want. Let's talk about why we have these 7 chicks. So, like I said, we've got 2 roosters, 11 hens already. What do you need 7 more? What do you need 7 more for? Well, when we first started this. We were getting enough eggs where we as a family we're eating 1 to 2 dozen a week, right? That's all we're eating. And I had some surplus, so I decided to throw up a farm stand. I'll show that. I'll show a video of the farm stand later on. Throw up a farm stand, throw up a sign said, farm fresh eggs for sale. Throw an open sign out. I had 12 dozen in the refrigerator on surplus. I put 4 out there. It took about a month for people to finally stop. We live on a backcountry road. There is traffic through here, but the traffic is either you're going 25 miles or you're going 75 miles an hour. So nobody really knew what it was. But once the first person stopped, actually the first person who purchased eggs from us was my buddy that works in our trucks, but in our vehicles as a whole. And we took 3 dozen to him, and his wife and his family fell in love with him. Yeah, the same goes for all the customers that we have. Is I will never purchase eggs anywhere else. They're so good. I'm not trying to toot our horn, but the reason that they're so good is because they're in a natural environment, right? So they're outside all day long, eating grubs, eating worms, eating their greens, and then we give them grubs that are 40% protein. We give them a flock block that has molasses in it. That's the nice sweet things. We give them table scraps that they absolutely love. Fresh food, fresh water. They're outside all day long. Yes, backyard chicken eggs are going to be much better, much tastier and full of vitamins and minerals and omegas that you're not going to get from commercial eggs. You're just not going to get that. I'm not saying anything against commercial eggs. I'm just saying the backyard ones. So he started buying some. One of my wife's friends started buying some. And then we had several people stop on the roadside stand here, and quickly 12 dozen we were gone. Right, we couldn't keep up. So we have decided to purchase some more and then add to our flock, and so we can keep up with the demand here. We're only charging $4 a dozen. That's the other thing too that I think people like so much is because our prices are actually really not lower than what you're going to get. Are they organic? Yeah, they're organic. They're not certified organic, but they are organic and they are free range, and they are, that's the one thing that we can say about them. Yes. So that's why we got these extra. These guys will start dropping eggs mid-May, late May, right? So And once we get these guys out to the coop is a 12 by 12 coop, so comfortably we can get 24 chickens in there, right? That'll get us up to 18, right? 18 hens and 2 roosters. That gets us to 20. So I can comfortably fit 4 more in there, 4 more hens. So once these guys go to the coop, we're gonna purchase 4 additional hens. That'll probably be around the March-April time frame. That'll get us up to the 24. Now, because inside that coop, it's like I said, it's the 12 by 12, and there's 6 boxes in there where they can lay eggs. And the number for that is you really should have a 1-to-4 ratio for that as well. So for every 4 hens, you should have 1 box, right? So 6 boxes does 24. Plus, there's just that much room in there, and then we'll think about adding on to our coop or building a new coop in general. But so yeah. We are just trying to keep up with the demand. People just rave and love the eggs, and I love that people love them. So we want to keep adding to it and growing from there. So a year from now, we may be doing YouTube videos of 1,000+ chickens. Who knows? So I don't know. I think because the egg prices are so high right now, and people, of course, over the last 2 or 3+ decades now is organic is like, oh, we want to know where our food comes from, and that's a good thing. I think that we should know that, and it is true. Once you taste these eggs and then you go and try tasting commercial eggs, it's a huge difference. One thing I would love to be able to do is take an egg, crack it open, and be able to test it and see how many, our eggs versus their eggs, and see the huge difference in, like I said, in omegas and vitamins. That would be kind of cool to do. So yeah, they're doing their thing here. So let's put this video up, and then you guys can ask questions about anything you want as far as chicks go, and what you need to do with them, and what you should do with them, and should you do it? Should you not do it? That's something we can talk about. Yeah, so we've covered everything as far as what you need to do with your chicks on day 1, and like I said, they're going to be in this box for up until 4 weeks. You can keep out there as long as you want. It's just they're going to outgrow this box, and then we've got a nice dry, warm coop that they can go to that they're going to just thrive in. So that's why I want to keep them out here for 4 weeks. Now, as I grow with this and do more videos, I'd like to get those like a handheld camera. Or, I'm sorry, excuse me, hands-free. This is a handheld camera. A hands-free camera. This is just my phone that I'm doing this with. I'd like to get one of those GoPros that those real famous YouTubers do, right? So I can actually open this thing up and I can show you. It's kind of a pain in the butt to do that right now because I'm using two hands on this. So, as you can see, they sort. Don't worry about that. They're gonna push feed out. The Leghorn breed is really bad about that. Oh, and I did not tell you about that. We do have one Leghorn hen that drops eggs for us. I don't think I said that, but yes, she's part of the group too. She's real good, but she's tiny. She's really small, but she eats like crazy. And that's one thing they do is that breed right there for some reason really sorts. As you can see, she just gets in her beak in there and she just push. The other girls do that too. So right now we're giving brown eggs and white eggs, like I said, we had just got the one Leghorn, and she does definitely. She'll give me 3 or 4 days in a row where she give me the egg and take a day off, and then she goes right back to it. So 300+ eggs a day. So like I said, if you're going for just numbers, yes, Leghorn breed is what you want, but people like the brown eggs too. So yeah, don't be alarmed that they just sit there and sort like that. And some feeders are a little bit different with that. I'll show you the metal feeders that we once had, that I had out there in the coop, and they were doing great until it just got to the point where they were just, for some reason, sorting like crazy and just wasting it. It'd be one thing if they were just sorting like that, pushing on the ground and eating it, but a lot of times they're pushing on the ground and they're just not eating it, so they're just wasting it, We're trying to figure out what this camera thing is. So I've been rambling on for about 25 minutes. Let's keep it short like that because I know that people don't want to watch videos that are, excessively long. I know I don't. So yeah, video number 1, chicks, 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 right? So like I said, from here on out, we'll just keep thinking of new things to do. In the next video, I'd like to do out in the coop with the big girls, and then we'll go from there. All right, thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, whatever you like to do. You don't have to do any of that if you don't want to. All right, see you.